Hello, I'm Lisa Bryington from Moana Nursery, and today we're going to talk about planting fall bulbs. Every spring we get questions about planting fall bulbs, and it makes us sad to tell people it's just simply too late. When you want to plant your bulbs is right now. As simple as dig, drop, done. You want to have your area selected, you want to have a nice compost, some bone meal or other bulb food, and of course your bulbs. Today we're going to be planting double late tulip bulbs. Beautiful, so classic for the vase. So we have our soil here. Like most bulbs, tulips want to have a fairly well drained soil. And you can see this is a little heavy. So we're going to be adding some soil building conditioner. That's the product we showed. And we're going to add this at a rate of about 30% over the planting area. And then we're going to add some bulb food. At the recommended rate. Read your label. Bulb foods can vary. We really like our Gardener and Bloom Bud and Bloom fertilizer formulation for planting bulbs. Bone meal is great too. Our Gardener and Bloom bone meal is better than the average because it has microbes and mycorrhizal in it. So we really like that to improve the soil. We're just going to work that all in. We've got our compost and our fertilizer into our existing soil. Now that's nice and loose. You can see this is part of a vegetable bed here. This is going to make a lovely surprise in the spring, popping up, and these tulips will be done before it's time to plant any warm weather crops. So a great way to have an integrated planting. On tulips, there are species types that go a little shallow, but for the most part, tulips are about 6 inches deep in the soil. And I like to kind of figure out my design a little bit. I've selected the general area with these planted in the ground. I'm going to give about 8 inches of space in between. And I've made sure now that my soil is nice and loose because I can actually just work it with my hand to get that tulip bulb in there. An important point, this is a question we often get as well. This is the basal plate or bottom of the bulb. That's how you know what is the bottom. That's where the roots come out. In general, the pointy part is the top. And it does make a difference. People will plant them wrong side up and get some decent results, but they won't bloom quite as nicely, and often the foliage is going to be deformed. Now, further note about planting bulbs. We are planting here at the end of October, and that's the perfect time to be planting once the soil has started to cool. And I've just laid these out, as you see, in a nice, fairly open pattern. Got them down at about 6 inches, about 8 inches apart. Have my soil and my compost and my fertilizer in my soil, and I'm done. Ready for beautiful spring blooms.